Hi, friends. Welcome back. Today we are here with Carol Krska, and she is the founder of Prairie Home, which is a amazing line of cleaning products that are eco-friendly. They're clean, they're safe for our kids and for our pets, and even cooler, she's based out of Lenexa, so we love that. Sarah and I both were fortunate enough to be able to test out her products, which was really fun. We appreciated you sharing those with us. So it's cool for us to be able to hear the story behind how you started this company. So yeah,
Yeah. Well,
thanks for being here.
well, thank you guys so much
Yeah.
for including me on your great podcast.
Carol, can you tell us maybe a little bit about yourself and how you started Emerald Prairie Home?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. Yes, I grew up in Western Johnson County on what started out to be a dairy farm.
Oh,
My dad and mom, we ran a dairy, we raised crops, and this was quite a few years ago now. But my dad was a traditional farmer in the 50s. Pesticides and herbicides came out, and he farmed and used that on his crops. But as I got a little bit older, we went to raising beef cattle, and my parents had done a lot of reading, and they had both also had grown up in farm families and grew their own food and things, and they soon realized that the pesticides and fertilizers that they were using might not be the best
right.
things. Those herbicides might not be the healthiest for our foods. So we went to being a total organic farm
Mhm.
and raised our own cattle, raised our own chickens. Went so far as we raised our own wheat, ground our own flour, made our own bread. So I was probably grew up in the classic crunchy
Oh,
version
I was-
of life.
is that like for that time? You're not old, but for that time.
No, for the
Was that, like, progressive? Was that more like, do you feel like for your family that was kind of ahead of the time to be moving in that direction?
I think it was very novel.
Yeah.
And, at the time, I went to my friend's house and I kinda wanted the white bread and bologna,
Yeah.
and that
Right.
wasn't what was happening in my house.
Mhm.
But, as I've gotten older, had my own family, and now my grandkids, boy, do I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
so I just kinda grew up with a real awareness
Mhm.
about chemicals and things that could happen and why you did and didn't want to have these things. And, in fact, one of my friends up in Leavenworth County, they were on well water and they drank it until they got it tested, and it had so much nitrogen in it
Oh my
from atrazine that they had to start buying water. And so these things just happened back then,
Right.
and I was lucky enough not to be aware of that and not
Mhm.
to have to deal with that.
Yeah. So that's kind of your upbringing. So then take us from that to starting Emerald Prairie Home.
Okay. Well, I went to college and I got a BS and then an MS in chemical engineering
Ah,
because I
cool.
still really like chemistry. I also had a lot of master's hours in environmental engineering.
Okay.
So, just always been very aware of chemistry, the earth, the interactions.
Mm.
And so I worked for quite some time until I had my kids and then became a stay-at-home mom,
Mhm.
raising kids, growing our own garden, and being as healthy as I could because that was the lifestyle I knew growing up, luckily. And anyway, then we had another business that I was kind of on the fringe of and would help. It did deal some with chemistry. And but we got parts from China for that business. So my husband made frequent trips to China and had a lot of contacts. So fast forward to the pandemic,
Uh-huh.
everybody needs PPE.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, in my husband also was getting stuff from China. Everybody was trying to. We were supplying people, and he came home one day after I had been to Sam's Club or wherever I'd gone and been like, "There's no disinfectant.
Right.
There's 0. I can't find anything." And everybody wanted disinfectant to
Yeah.
fight COVID. And he comes home and he's like, I found this great product. It's hypochlorous acid. You know it? And I was like, well, yeah, I've used it on my animals for like 10 years because there was a veterinary product on the market
Okay.
available with that as an ingredient. he's like, "Well, we can make it now." And I was like, "No way." And he's very excited, and so we started making it, and he started going into like, "Did you know it was good for this, good for that?" And I was like, "Okay, there's a place where it's too good to be true."
Right, right, right.
And then I went and read literature because that's what I do as an engineer,
Okay.
and it really is all that in a bag of chips.
And just to
Great.
clarify, they were using this in China, right, to combat
Yes.
COVID.
Yes, they were. They were using it in
Okay.
China, the Far East, Italy, um, Brazil. I mean, really, we were the ones that didn't do it here in the US.
And is there a reason, or why wasn't it
Same question.
popular here?
Yeah.
Well, I could go through why don't I just go through the history of it just
Okay.
a minute about what it is?
Yeah.
So, hypochlorous acid is this amazing product that actually any mammalian cell creates in their immune system to fight invaders like viruses and bacteria. And the white blood cells, when it when the immune system recognizes it, then the white blood cells create it. And of course, it's biocompatible if it's in your body. And anyway, it goes in, and that invader cell does not recognize it as anything but water because it is a water cell is a hydrogen and oxygen and hydrogen, H2O, and HOCl is a hydrogen and oxygen. It replaces that last hydrogen with a chlorine, which happens to be very reactive and loves to get into cells and eat RNA or DNA, disrupt it of those invaders, what your immune system says, so it kills them and you get healthy again, even from norovirus. You get healthy again.
The worst.
Yeah. So, they use this product. It was discovered in the 1800s. And they used it, but they had to mix a couple of chemicals, and they used it on the World War I battlefield for
Huh.
all sorts of wounds and infections and everything. But the problem was that when they mixed these two chemicals together, the hypochlorous acid or HOCl was not very stable. It would last like 4 days, maybe a week, and then they'd have to make more. So that was not something that, you could make and bottle and go through distribution and get on your shelf at CVS or
Right.
anything. Whereas bleach, which really came of popularity in like the 50s, bleach and some of the quaternary ammonias that are compounds on wipes and things, that really happened in the 50s. Well, they could do that. They could be manufactured in big volumes and gone through the supply chain, and poor hypochlorous acid was kind of the proverbial stepchild and got shoved aside. But with the advent of technology, it turns out that we can make an electrolytic cell, and we can take water and common table salt, sodium chloride, and you can also use potassium chloride if you want potassium left, but and make hypochlorous acid that's stable. And part of the secret to the stability is what we do is we take the water that's incoming from the city, and it may actually have like 300 parts per million of dissolved solids or stuff in it. Maybe it's leftover pharmaceuticals, maybe it's PFAS, maybe it's all sorts of things. Well, and it's like, oh, it's okay. It's just a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but not really to make hypochlorous acid. So we ultra purify it from that 300 down to like 30 parts per billion, and then we react it. And so we've made a stable product that you can use. And
So
the
people really do use their chemistry from high school.
Yeah.
I know,
This
college,
success,
Yes. Listen up, kids.
yes, right, right.
But yes, and so with this ultra pure water, the place where it is stable is a very nice pH of like 5 to 7. 7 is perfectly neutral. Your skin's like 5.4, basically. Your skin likes it, a little bit acidic. But your dog's skin might be 6.6, 6.7. So we have products for all sorts of things, and we'll vary the concentration and the pH to be most suitable for the application for which we've designed. So we have a whole line of products that
Cool.
we're making.
Amazing.
So,
Well,
Carol,
we're-
why would a mom or anybody looking for cleaning products choose Emerald Prairie Home versus like a more traditional products we're used to using, like
Clorox.
Clorox or Lysol wipes?
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Not to throw
That
under
is
the
a-
bus, but
No,
yeah.
but
yeah, that's a
everybody
great
knows
question.
bleach.
Probably not. Let's
No, I
Right.
love that question, and that's one of the most common ones.
Yep.
And quite simply, they are not safe. You read the bottle, you look at them, you need to use gloves. You need to keep them in a locked up underneath your counter or away from your kids.
Mhm.
And our products, as we said, are biocompatible. Um, the pet spray that we can come out with, I mean, pets lick stuff off if you've got a cat or dog and you spray it on their skin issue,
Mhm.
they're going to lick it. Well, this is fine. They can lick this. I'm not putting bleach on my pet. The safety and then the versatility of this product is massive. It is way more than I thought. And back to that safety issue,
Mhm.
if you look on a bottle and there's like a word that is about really 5 words in one and it's got ammonia or ammonium anywhere in there, they call that a quaternary ammonium. Very common, very cheap, inexpensive commodity chemical. Is on most of the commercial wipes that you buy that are for cleaning.
Mm.
That will cause skin irritation, and in mice, it'll cause endocrine. They've not done experiments on people, of
Mhm.
course,
Not yet.
but they have on mice, and it's a very bad endocrine disruptor.
Okay.
So it's really, and it sticks around too.
How is it legal to sell stuff like that?
That's a great.
I mean, for real.
No, for real. And I'm an engineer. I
know.
didn't
I'm like, wait,
realize
so-
it.
Okay. Mhm.
And there's this
Right.
literature out there if you want to do just Google is your friend or Grok or AI is your friend. But if you want to do that, but there have been studies slated literally for years that have never taken place. So you don't want to throw huge chemical manufacturers or distribution,
Right.
but it's cheap. It's listed right now with the EPA. And that's kind of that. It's
Interesting.
the story is even more torrid than that, but
Oh, I
I want to go into that.
Good documentary.
Right.
It would.
The dark side of cleaning products.
It really would. And I'm just like, I saw one of my children using it. And now that I have grandchildren, I'm even more.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw them using a wipe and I was like, don't.
Right.
I was mortified.
Sure.
And they're like, "Well, yeah."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Well, no."
If you're enjoying this conversation about Emerald Prairie Home, make sure to head to their website at emeraldprairiehome.com and you can receive 15% off your first order. Back to our conversation. How can your products help like a busy mom? Like what makes them great for tired busy moms?
Well, I mean, first of all, you don't have to get out your gloves and goggles to use it. You can use this one product to replace a lot of things like your kids' toys might be dirty or, they're constantly putting stuff in their mouth. You can just spray it. If the hypochlorous acid comes in contact with some contaminant that you don't want on there, it will handle it. So it's very versatile as far as where you can use it. You can use it in your bathroom, you can use it in your kitchen, you can use it on food preparation surfaces.
Oh, cool.
You can spray it on your cutting board. You do your meat and you wash it off. Well, spray it on your cutting board and just let it dry to get that all nice and clean. And really, those cleaning products can go out the door. And the wipes, the other thing about the wipes, and of course they're convenient, but they do create a lot of trash.
That's true too. Yeah, that's a great.
So you're kind of
Great.
highlighting the multi-surface cleaner that you have,
Right.
which I assume is the
It's kind of our flagship
Right.
and most versatile product.
Okay.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I have other. I used a washing machine
Yes.
cleaner and drain cleaner,
Right.
which I feel like is very satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
What were some of the other products?
Okay, so we also, as you said, have a washing machine cleaner, and I don't know what yours, if it's a front or a top load, but
The top load.
okay, well, my front load
Girl.
always, oh my gosh, before we made this product, I'd gone through years of, especially in the summer, if the door had been shut before it dried out, oh, I'd open it up and I'd be like, can I even put my
Yeah.
clothes in here? Because the
right.
smell. So a little bit of this, and it is really great on odors and killing that scum. You'll still wipe it out, but I don't know. Mine, when I pulled it forward and saw that gasket, it kind of had a film that I'd wipe out, like a black film, and I'd just be like, I don't know how clean my clothes are getting here.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll clean all that. One of our new products we are coming out with is actually for your use with your laundry. So if you have stinky kid clothes, or I'm a pretty avid horseback rider, the inside of my helmet, my boots, and my horses are smelly, not me, but
Of course not.
I get
They don't keep
I get
themselves,
that.
I assume.
But it'll clean up, or and then on the pets, we have a pet area odor. So if your pet beds smell like dog, shocking, I know, then you can spray it on the
How about
fabric.
cat pee?
Ooh,
Cat pee, it's pretty darn good with cat pee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
clean out.
worse than like vomit.
I don't have cats, but my friends that do have cleaned out their litter boxes, and they like it. And then I had a friend that had a dog that was skunked and laid on one of her horse blankets,
Huh?
and she said, I washed it like 12 times with everything. I was getting ready to throw it away. And she said literally one wash with the laundry, and the skunk smell was gone.
Nice.
So
Amazing.
yeah, you have teenage boys,
Yes.
you know.
Some rising ones over there.
They're on their way.
They're on their way.
So I know you've been working with a lot of moms locally to kind of just get feedback on your products. Can you talk about, some success stories or, moms' reactions to using these in your home?
Yeah.
By far and away, they are really enjoying it, and um enjoying how they've gotten rid of
Yeah.
all these other products and just replaced them with this one product, or
Right.
and that the versatility of it. I mean, they use it to wipe out, again, like their dog and cat feeder bowls, and they're not worried that they're leaving behind something that's going to be toxic and detrimental to their pets. They wipe off the ones with toddlers, wipe off the high chair tray, and they're not worried that they're leaving behind something that's going to hurt them. One of my daughters, one of my granddaughters is 4 years old, and she loves nothing more than using the spray and helping out mom. And she's not worried if she gets some of the spray on her that, she's going to have a damaging situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's really nice. And that is another perk, something you feel comfortable giving your kid. Like, have at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And little kids love to do nothing more than help.
Yeah.
Until they become
Until they don't.
affected, until they become capable, really highly capable, at which point
Making you a really good job.
they quit.
No longer helps you.
Right.
That's But no, I think that's such a strength of the product, obviously.
That is what I really like about it, because yes, I've got grandchildren from 4 months to 4 years, 6 of them. So when they come over, I can have the place clean for them, and I do have dogs in the house, so I can clean up all that.
Yep.
And it doesn't smell like dog, and they can be on the carpet, because I actually take the all-purpose cleaner and just mist it over my carpet.
Yeah.
And so it makes me feel better about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The misting bottle is very satisfying.
The misting bottle.
I heard Jen. I met with another one of your founders, and he talked about the nozzle on the
I love that.
multi-surface cleaner, that was a intentional choice.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, we do supply it, and the bottle it's almost like an aerosol without the aerosol.
Yes.
So it creates this fine mist which covers everything,
Yes.
much different than your bottle of whatever cleaner that you typically use that, you go and it goes sploot, sploot.
Right.
Well, it
It's
gets
crazy.
2 spots,
Yeah.
but you have to wipe and, smear it around and make sure. Well, this puts a fine mist over everything.
I found that very
So-
satisfying.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I should need to like mist my kids when they walk in from school. Like mist their entire body. Would you recommend that?
Well,
Inside your mouth?
as you asked, well,
we say so, right?
there are products, FDA products that do use hypochlorous acid for the mouth rinse for the periodontists.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the first medical uses on a commercial scale was for your eyes.
Oh,
So if ophthalmologists
Right.
use it around your eyes, they probably aren't. They're not going to use something that's going to harm your eyesight.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, good.
and we are coming out actually with a skin product,
Oh,
and it's really good against any kind of skin irritation, abrasion, breakout.
have like a hand sanitizer?
We do not, because that.
What's your list?
Well,
You know-
yeah. I mean, and that again,
Right.
with regulation, your FDA, and there's a whole lot of bureaucratic
Yeah.
issues that you have to go through to advertise yourself as such. But
Right.
we're trying to add products and bring on things people want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
So where can our listeners find your products?
Oh, thanks for asking. We have a website, Emerald Prairie Home,
Mhm.
and we are on Facebook and Instagram as Emerald Prairie Home. And there are also some TikTok creators that are using it. So emeraldprairiehome.com.
And that's where people would buy it as well on the website?
Yes.
Because it's not in stores right now, correct?
No,
Okay.
it is not available.
Which means you don't have to drive to a store and
Yeah.
it comes to your front door, which is what I prefer.
Yes.
I'm
Me as
very
well.
happy customer. So do you have any final thoughts or anything for or encouragement for our moms that are looking to create a healthier home?
I really hope people will, and moms and dads
Yeah.
or grandmas like me,
Right.
will give this a try. It there is one thing: we are fragrance free, we are VOC free, it's
Right.
alcohol free.
Yep.
So it's really, really pure.
Mhm.
And it does have a light chlorine smell, but it's not bleach.
Right.
Because
Not a GM
personally, if I smell bleach, yes, that's the next thing. My nose is running.
Yep.
And even since I've been using this, if I now even go someplace and they've used some other spray, I've become almost hypersensitized.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And this I've never had any sort of reaction to. So yeah, just keep on making it safer, and it's even safe for the environment. It can help remove some of the nasties that are out in the environment. So it's really is, like I said, it's all that in a bag of chips, and I am not a salesperson.
No,
I'm the last
I think everything you shared, though, I mean, I feel like it also sells itself because of just for what it is.
It
So
sold itself
the
even
simplicity of it is
Yeah.
refreshing to me.
when I went on and started researching. It sold itself to me even more, and I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to things. Let's just say.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, and all that research is available on your website, I know.
yeah, we have a lot on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah, online it's the NIH has even sponsored some, so it's all there is a lot. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, thanks.
Fantastic.
Love that you're local and
Yes.
we have you here. And
We're so excited to offer this product to everybody.
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been fun.
I super appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We hope you have enjoyed our conversation as much as we have that we have with Carol with Emerald Prairie Home. Don't forget to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and head to their website at emeraldprairiehome.com, and you will find that you can receive 15% off your first order. Thank you guys for listening and for being here.